All right, guys, welcome back to Dads Against the Narrative, the show where we cut through the noise, challenge the status quo, talk real talk about life, family, and the world all around us. Today, we're joined by a special buddy of mine, Brad Dunn from Reliant Fitness, and co-hosting Devin Linder as last episode. Thanks for being here, guys. And Brad, we're just gonna jump right into it. What
Alrighty.
was that, what was that one red pill event that brought you out of the matrix, man?
Oh, dude. So, I had a couple, honestly, but I had gotten to a point where I kind of just had a harsh self check audit, if you will, of kind of my life, my habits, and where I was at, and I got so fucking fed up with my reality. I was just like, something's got to give, and it's got to be me. Because the only reason that this is happening and taking place is because I've refused to accept ownership of what has got me here. And it was a laundry list of shit, right? It's just that kind of hypnotic rhythm that we get sucked into as young adults in this world, where we are conditioned to just work our asses off, but never necessarily work on ourselves. And I was kind of in that realm of like, well, just work all the time, ignore anything else. As long as you're providing and showing up, that's all that needs to take place. And then drown it all away on the weekends because you fucking hate your job and you fucking hate your life. And that was that was life. It was like fast food, alcohol, work Monday through Friday, get blackout, and then do it all over again. And then I kind of just looked around one day and I'm like, bro, there's gotta be more than this. Like, I'm not physically where I want to be. I'm not mentally where I want to be. I'm not financially where I want to be. I've just gotten stuck, and I basically just had to unfuck my life by picking apart my bad habits and learning to practice better ones. And primarily not only just show up better for myself, but show up better for my kids. Like, they deserved a better example, a better provider, and I deserved a better life. So I just had to sit down and have that harsh come into truth of being like, what goes, what stays, and what happens from here on out.
Dude, did you write that shit down when you
No.
when you were in that moment?
For real.
'Cause that's fucking. I think that's a lot of us who talk a lot. I mean, I hit you up on the side a lot, and some guys that we both know, and it's like, dude, we all have a very similar story.
Yeah.
And I mean, Devin, we talked about this last week. It's like I was addicted to drugs, alcohol, womanizing. It was like so on and so forth. I was in a punk band touring. I thought I was the fucking coolest, and that yet I was driving a fucking like '92 fucking Toyota Corolla that barely fucking ran. And fucking dude, I looked around like, what a fucking loser. It was a wake up call for me. It was just same thing. It was like, wake the fuck up, dude. And I think there's a point in life where it's like every man, if you don't have a point in life where you're just like, what's my calling? What's my purpose? What the fuck am I here for? Am I here to party every weekend? Am I here
Yeah.
to get drunk with the boys every weekend? Are these really my boys?
Yeah.
Dude, that was one of the biggest questions for me was like, my friends, when I changed that first fucking friend group that I was friends with for 20 years, my life just started fucking going up. I'm like, damn, I can see clearly. And it was a shame to say because it's like I love those guys. We've been through battle, like legit battles in Cleveland. Like we fought motherfuckers all the time.
Yep.
And yet, once I let go of them, it was something of a wake up call. So how many friends did you lose along the way?
Oh, quite a few. I wouldn't necessarily say that I lost a whole lot. It just really showed me who was really in my corner and who wasn't. I don't
Yeah,
feel like I lose anything. I gained everything.
I agree. I agree. Devin,
Yeah.
sorry, man. I know you're trying to jump in
No,
there.
you're good. You're good. I like the self audit. Like I've been through that too, where like you have like you said. I think I said it too on the episode we had. Whereas I had a couple of those red pill moments, but it was just like it was just stacked on top of each other. It was kind of like, oh, I'm going through this phase and then I'm back out. Oh, I'm going through this shit and then I'm back out. And then you get to a point where you look at your life and it might be like just the smallest event, but it sets off this moment to where you're like, fuck, like I'm fucking up here, I'm fucking up there, I'm right here, I'm right there. Like, is this really like how I'm about to just carry this shit out for the rest of my life? Like, how is this gonna look like when I get older if I keep going down these pathways? And that's when, you know, you make that decision to be like, all right, fuck it, I'm over this. I'm about to make these changes now. And I think what really like made it clear to me is like, okay, is this what the fuck you want your children to pick up on? Is this like what you want your children to start like feeding off of? Are these the behaviors that you're showing your children? Because behaviors are caught, not taught. Like, so is this what you want to lay? This a foundation you want to lay out for your generation so they can pass it on to the next generation? Now they're passing that shit on to other people and they're fucking up more people in the world. Like, do we want to do this shit, bro? Like, do your fucking part. Do your fucking part and you know, work on yourself. And so yeah, I had a similar like red pill moment. It was just like a bunch of events that added up to one huge ass fucking self audit, self realization. You kind of break yourself down, but then you start building yourself back up in the process too.
Absolutely.
Brad, do you know the date that that happened? Because like for me, I could tell you, mine was Valentine's Day, 2011, and I got sick and tired of my shit. I was living in Germany. I was a private in the military, and everyone's like, "You can't fucking do this or this or this." And I just heard all these motherfuckers say this. I just came back from Afghanistan, and I'm like, "No, man, I think I can do all of it. I think I can do all of it, motherfuckers. I think you're all wrong, and you're all fucking just drinking the wrong Kool-Aid." And you know, I'll never forget the fucking day. I woke up and I said, "All right, I'm gonna start doing 50 fucking push-ups, 50 sit-ups once I wake up, lunchtime. Anytime I come through the door, I'll do fucking 20 pull-ups." I just made up my own fucking shit. Like where I was just like, "No, I'm done. I'm totally done." And I remember I had a girlfriend, a German girl back then, and she was just like, "What are you doing, Jack?" And I'm like, "I'm on a new fucking mission. My trajectory just changed. It just shifted. That old Jack that you started dating's gone." And like I killed that version off. Like literally right then and there, he was gone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily recall the exact day, but I do remember the moment that it really kind of took its setting. And it was the day I found out I was having a little girl. You know, I'd already had a son. You know, my son was like 7 or 8 years old, and I can openly say I was not necessarily setting the best example for him. I was dealing with my own shit in the only way that I knew how. But as soon as like my current wife, you know, and I found out we were having a little girl, like obviously I knew she was pregnant, but once I found out I was having a girl, that kind of like shook my whole fucking world. And I was like, I really, I really got to get it together. You know, like it's one thing to raise a young man, but I have to be the fucking man for her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was the moment. You know, I don't remember the exact day, but I remember going to the ultrasound and I remember them being like, "It's a girl." And I'm like, my whole world just came right into like this little focal point. And I'm like, I basically was like, "Oh fuck," you know, and then I just had to look inward and be like, okay, this is where everything gets rebuilt. You know, like Devin said, this is where the shit stops, and everything from here is that audit of what stays, what goes, and what changes today.
Yeah.
Mm. That I mean, that moment I can relate with you on that, bro, because the moment when I found out I was having my daughter, that's kind of like it was similar. It was just like everything slowed down and you're just like, dang. You thinking about all the stuff you done did and all the girls you probably done, you know, hurt and stuff like that. And you're like, now I gotta raise a daughter.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, oh no, like I gotta show her like what type of man to look for. But how am I gonna show her that if currently right now I'm not being that type of man that she should be looking for? And so, yeah, that's when that audit process happens. That's when that you're like, all right, time to check these things off, and you know, get rid of these habits, install these newer habits, and you know, build from there. So, yeah, that the daughter moment that was a awakening moment for me too.
My wife's
Yeah.
hoping that shit happens coming up here. I guarantee. She's hoping. We're going for number 3, and I just tell her I'm like I only make fucking
Let's
boys.
go.
I only make boys. That's all I'm. But I do want a girl. I want a girl at the end because I do know I'll melt. Like I'm like 10 years older than both of you, I think. So it's like
It's definitely different, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad I have two boys, but my daughter is fortunately safe in the middle. You know what I mean? In a
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
And looking back, you know, like as terrified as I was finding out that I was having a little girl, like it was a very pivotal moment in my life that made me stand up and become better.
Yep.
I could see that 100%.
100%.
I mean, even now, like I feel like I do a decent job. I'm not even gonna say, and I think this is the problem with a lot of men is I don't think I'm the fucking best. I don't think I'm the bee's knees. I think like fuck, I need to get up and do it again. I need to get up and show them again.
Yep.
It's on repeat. It's a rinse and repeat, right? And what can I do better tomorrow? Can I tweak something a little bit to show my kids like, hey, dad's a fucking superhero, right? Maybe a small one, but I'm a fucking superhero. And
Yeah.
so you know, it's weird that when you see a man. Me and my buddy were just talking this morning. He's especially if he listens to this shit. The motherfucker's like mafia here. He won't say it, but he is. And he's making fun of this one guy we both know, and the guy's a total fucking soy boy. And you get by him, his wife runs things. She tells him everything. She fucking runs the show. Me and him look
Yeah.
at each other, and we're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is the weirdest shit ever. Like, this guy's never looked in the mirror. He only has one daughter, and I don't want to say too much in case they listen to this shit, because a lot of people over here listen to this, but I'm gonna get myself in trouble. But
Saying it. Saying
they
it.
have an overweight child that it's like they're overweight, they're not showing anything. And in my head, I'm like, how the fuck you live life like that? Like, where do you get to a point where you can say enough is enough? But there's
Mhm.
so many people in the fucking world that are just like, I don't. I'm not sure if like Simone was telling me, my wife yesterday is just like, dude, is that fucking person a zombie? Like, there's this guy we see at jiu-jitsu, and he looks like a fucking zombie, and he's not in bad shape. This guy's not in bad shape. He's just fucking strange. Like, it looks like his eyes are. There's no feeling. There's
Functioning.
no emotion. It's like, dude, is he a lizard fucking person? Like, what the fuck is going on with you?
Dead inside, bro. Dead inside. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of people. You know, a lot of people are just going through the motions, man. They have no goals, they have no desire, they have no purpose, you know, and they
Yep.
are simply just existing.
Autopilot. Just
Mhm.
autopilot.
I
And
mean,
like,
you can do that.
yep. I look at it as, like you said, they're just going through the motions. I look at it as autopilot. I look at it as, how complex this society is designed that, you don't even, because we're really simple, right? If we look at humans, like, we're really simple. We really thrive off simplicity.
Mhm.
Sunlight, water, fresh fruit, vegetables, good meat. Like, we really thrive off of that shit. Community, connection, just simple connection with one another. But we
Yes.
made it so complex to, like, all right, fucking flat screen TV and fucking bills every fucking month and cell phones and fucking new cars and all this shit. And it's like, I mean, yeah, all that shit's cool and nice. Like, I'd like nice shit like that. But what's really important is, like, what can I pass on to not even just my kids, but like even just sitting here talking with you guys, like, what can I pass on? What can I acquire from you guys that is worth more than just fucking like tangible items, like, material shit, like the shit that was learning from you, Brad, when you were doing the burpees. Like you said, it wasn't about the fucking like just getting in fucking shape, but it was also like make the most of what the fuck you have. Like, if I don't have a fucking 5-star gym with the state of the art equipment, I got hands, legs, I got a fucking ground. Like, I'm grateful that I'm even alive. Let me go ahead and just drop down and get like 100 burpees in, 20, fuck, 50. It don't matter, but like, let me at least be thankful and move my body and show that gratitude within that. So I think a lot of the times people are on autopilot because they're just doped up on this material shit and all of these layers of complexity that's been placed on us.
Yeah. 100%, man. And that was a big thing for me too, is like when I made that big change in my life, it was removing the excess. It was removing, you know, the nights out, the fast food, the alcohol, the cigarettes, all the added shit that we feel is like necessary at some point. And it was basically narrowing it down to the simplification of like what was actually needed for me to like feel good and be happy and like feel fulfilled. And, when it was a removal process. And when I basically got down to the nuts and bolts of it, much like you said, dude, it was like having a home, having good food, time with my family, and time to go like physically work on myself. And that was it. That's like what made me happy, and I didn't need any of the extra stuff. And by, almost by narrowing it down to its simplest form and continuing to live that way, like I was given so many gifts in return.
That part.
I think people don't realize that. I mean, so many people, Brad, are just like, oh, Jack, you live such a fucking cool life, dude. You're in Mexico, this and that. But they don't realize what was given up to get this life. And I think that's a very important part that you just fucking mentioned is like, dude, I gave up everything. My family fucking thinks I'm a lunatic up in Cleveland. Like, I don't talk to most of my family. They're fucking just like, you're crazy. I posted something about homeschooling. Most of my friends don't homeschool. And then like my family took it personal. Motherfuckers, most of you are a bunch of hillbilly rednecks, man. I ain't fucking posting about you, believe me. Believe me, I'm just posting what's reality for me. It's like I got the luxury of homeschooling my kids, but what did I give up? I gave up $200,000 a year. That's what we gave up. We give $200,000 a year to have this life. And then people are like, oh man, you're so lucky. No, I earned this life. And I think the problem is people forget that like it didn't just fucking come to you. You earned it. You stayed consistent. You worked and you worked hard. And maybe you worked with your wife and your family and your intermediate family. But you earned it. And that is something that people just fucking sleep on so much. It's just like me and Devin were just talking about like friends and like how people just fucking disappear. His family and friends. And I was talking to another guy yesterday. My sister won't talk to me because I believe in. I don't want to say it. It's a conspiracy show, so we'll just say it. I believe that the Jewish supremacy is fucking running the world, and he's not fucking wrong. He's not wrong. We did a whole show on it, so we've done flat Earth. We've done it all. You bring it on, it's like that was another one. My grandma got mad at me for posting about flat Earth, and I said, "Have you ever looked into it, though? Have you ever looked into it? Like, I'm not asking you to believe it. I'm not even saying I believe it necessarily. I'm just saying." Research fucking life, man. Look at other things. There's so much. Like, you think my kids are perfect? Fuck no. My kid works his ass off. At 4 years old, I stole your shit, Brad, where you made your son. I think he got in a fight at school or some shit or suspended, and you brought him home and made him do 100 burpees.
Yep.
From that day on, I'm like, I love it because I don't hit my kids. And so 4 years, he was 4 because I think this is when me, you, and Kyle were talking, and I started making Destin do burpees. Now I have about 40 men that start copying this for their kids. So their kids, they're like, wait, your kids start at 4 years old? I'm like, fuck yeah. And they've watched my son done 250, 300 burpees in a day for being an asshole. And they're like, but your kid's 5 years old. He's going to be a man. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Ownership doesn't have an age limit.
Exactly.
Like you can, the sooner we can, implement that there are consequences for certain actions, the much more likely that some of those things may not carry on and continue. And much like you said, like obviously there, I have mixed feelings with obviously disciplinary actions with kids. You know what I mean? Like I was raised at the time where I got spanked, I got the fucking belt, and part of me is grateful for it. You know what I mean? But I think that there's obviously better ways to do it. So yeah, I mean, there's been multiple times where my son had issues at school, whether it was a physical altercation or something in the classroom. And, principal called, I had to go down there and have a meeting and then come home. And I'm like, guess what, bro? We're going to bang out 100 on the driveway. And I'm not going to watch you. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to suffer with you because, you are my burden in a sense, but I will, help you correct this and I will walk with you through it.
I mean, it's powerful. It just shows how much more regulated you are too, because I think a lot of parents, especially like Christian people, they're fucking like, the Bible says use a fucking rod and blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up, man. Like, how about like you show that you're emotionally regulated as a fucking human and work with your kid the proper way. I thought it was the best thing. When I saw you do that, I was like, that's mine. I'm taking that. I'm taking that shit from Brad right then and there. I give you credit though all the time.
Bro.
So
thanks, man.
Bro, I'm implementing that too. I do wall sits for my kids. Sit on the wall, sit on the wall, and then like one thing I'm going to implement too, Brad, is like do that shit with them, like because part of leadership is ownership, right? I mean,
Yes.
they represent us in the they represent us whenever they step out. So like if he's representing you in the negative, you gotta take ownership of that. Yeah, like I don't know where he learned that, but we gonna fix it right now. Me and him both are gonna fix it together. So I'm gonna implement that as well. Like you just put me on some game with that. Also, Jack, with that statement you said earlier about the those people, the
What's
Jewish
up?
people.
Bro, we know the cabal. We know what the fucking cabal is. If you're not awake to the fucking reality of the world, and I think that's the reality of this show is like Dad's against the narrative. It's not just one narrative. It's all the fucking narratives. And we've been fed only fucking bullshit for so long. World War II,
Ooh,
everyone's still like, oh, 6 million Jews died. No, they didn't. Not even fucking near that number. And there was no gas chambers. I'm a history major. Like we learned that shit in history class back in my liberal arts school at University of Tampa.
that's
He's like, no, you guys are just listening to propaganda, just like you fell for the
mm-hmm.
fucking COVID propaganda because you have no fucking wherewithal at all or fortitude in your fucking body to say, no, no, I have autonomy and I'm gonna fucking live the way I want. Because
Yeah, that COVID shit, bro. My wife and I looked at each other when they came out with the COVID shit, and it was like, "You got to wear your mask." We was like, bro, whoever is making the rules, they're just having a fucking blast. Like they're just like, yeah, they're just over there. They probably were over there laughing, like, yeah, we're gonna make them wear fucking masks and while they're on their fucking yachts and shit. And my wife and I, we were just out and about, and people were like, put on your mask. I was like, hey, bro, don't talk to my wife like that. We're
Yeah.
gonna do whatever the fuck we want to do. No, you're spreading it. You're spreading it. I'm like, and you're breathing in carbon dioxide. That is toxic, my guy. That's why you're losing your shit right there. Plus breathing
Yeah.
in oxygen. Yeah, that's probably gonna help you get rid of this shit. Is do some fucking breath work or something. Like breathe some oxygen, touch some grass, bro. Like good grief. Hey.
I mean, I'm kind of disappointed, Brad, that you don't have any burpee videos with you wearing a mask.
I, I refuse to be muzzled.
I refuse to eat muscle.
I saw it was like 2 years ago, Brad. You'd be on like out listening to shit, and you'd always post. You and I were doing really similar things at this time because I would post like I didn't want to be political, and I think that's like what this show became is like I want to talk it because not like politics right and left bullshit either, just the
Right.
narratives that we're fucking forced all the time
Yep.
to eat, and it's like I remember you were posting Andy Frisella, Real AF, and so was I. I was always listening to the show. It's the
Fucking
show I listen
dude.
to still. It's still the show I listen to. I like CTI. That's my shit. It's literally where I get my news from, even because in Mexico I don't
Bro.
news, politics.
Yeah, unbiased opinions, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So it's just like it's good to see other people out there that are just like, dude, no, I'm not playing this game. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is
Bro.
nonsense. And there's just too many fucking fathers that are just like they give into it, and you're like, dude, what are you doing, bro? Like,
Yeah.
you're the leader of your family, and you're just allowing this to go. I remember my wife's like, and she'll admit to this. We just talked about this yesterday with a couple. It was like, Jack, wear a mask and put fucking gloves on when I'm going to fucking Safeway or Publix or some shit. And I'm like, nah, that's not happening. I was 40 years old at this time, 41. And I'm like, no, they tried H1N1, they tried SARS, they tried this, and this, and they just kept pushing shit. I'm old enough to remember that. And I'm like, day one, I go, and then look at the homeless. We lived in Seattle at the time. It's just
Oh,
loaded with fucking homeless because all the fucking libs
Mm.
out there just hanging out, like wanting free shit, and none of them are dying, which I was hoping they would. I'm like, dude, please, I hope they fucking die. But they sure the fuck didn't. And so if they're not dying, I'm sure the fuck not gonna die. I'm healthy as fuck. And then
right.
I'd go to the military. It was this really weird dichotomy I was in because then I'd go to military where you're supposed to be a leader, think outside the box, and they were all just like brainwashed, like fuck zombies. They're all wearing masks, and I refused. I had to go see generals and
Yeah.
shit. They're like, hey Jack, why? And I eventually I got fucking retired early because I fought them for 2 fucking years. But I was right. They were wrong. It was like
Savage hard.
they want you to have integrity and be a leader, but where does that line draw? Oh, it draws when the World Economic Forum tells you to fucking do something? What? Like, nah, that ain't happening. And I didn't play that game at all. Like, it just, were you
It
were a
didn't even
fireman at
make
that
fucking
time,
sense.
right? Brad, you were still a fireman at
Yeah,
that time.
bro.
I was. So my fire career basically started at the beginning of COVID. Um,
Mm.
and it changed a lot with some of obviously the hiring process and some of the scope of practice. And it was a weird time, man. I mean, I was like literally in academy when COVID hit, and they tried to shut down basically our academy with 2 weeks left. And we basically went to the council that hosts the academy and we're like, dude, we have 2 weeks left. Like, let us finish. And fortunately we were able to convince them to let us finish. And we basically did all our manipulatives that weekend, and they basically just pushed us out. We didn't even have a
Mm.
graduation. We didn't have nothing. We basically like, here's your certs. Best of luck to you. And then same thing with the hiring process, dude. Like, you couldn't get a job at a worthy department without providing proof of vaccination, or walking all the loops and stuff like that. And I didn't play the game, even with Cal Fire. We kind of had a little bit of a looser regulation because they realized there was so much pushback from the employees about testing and vaccination, that they're like, fuck, dude, if we enforce this, we're probably going to lose like 60% of our workers, like. And yeah, I mean, it was a weird time, man. And there was obviously individuals who were all hard up on it, but I I did the bare minimum. I think out of that whole 2 year, 3 year stretch, like, I only went and got fucking tested once because I had to basically show proof of testing before I was able to come back on duty. I had a fake vaccination card in case the
Yeah.
never
I
fuck.
was just about to say that. Did you get
Yeah,
a
in
fake
case
back
in
card?
case the department ever wanted to slap the regulation down, or if I was trying to get hired elsewhere, because that was a thing. I was trying to get picked up by another department, and some of them had those regulations in place. But yeah, I was very open about how I felt about the whole thing. I didn't agree with any of it, and I pushed back where I could, even at a lower level, versus captains, battalion chiefs, division chiefs. Like, dude, this is fucking stupid. Like, do you not see through this shit? Like, not a single person in our department or our county has died as a direct result of this, and you guys are making all of these policies, all these regulations, all these
Yep.
things for this. You guys have been fucking fooled.
Yeah,
Yep.
100%. Yeah, I had to get tested every other day. Every other day. The Army,
Every other day.
me and the Army fucking fought. I was the only captain that was like I was in the colonel's office all the time. Matter of fact, I stopped combing my hair at one time just to fuck with them. And I had Brad, I did some fucked up shit, dude. I like where I could get away with it because a captain's not a really high rank, right? It's still company level. It's not even into the field grades yet. And
Mhm.
so I would just do some silly shit. I'd shave my sides because that's like what the regulation says, and
Yeah.
I'd let my hair just grow out. And I have like curly ass wild hair, just like my kids do. Well, my kids have, of course, my wife's fro and mine mixed together, but I would just show up, bro. I went to the colonel's office and she's like, "Did you not comb your hair today?" I'm like, "No, ma'am, I sure didn't." And she's like, "Did you get tested?" I'm like, "That's the question I was waiting for. I knew it, dude. It was nonsense. It was so nonsense. Like, man, I probably gained 15 pounds those 2 years. I mean, I was working out, but like the stress that they put on us
Hmm.
to like, you want to stay in the military. I was at 13 years. And it's not like I was at like just starting my career. I was 13 years in, and I was up for command. They wouldn't give me command, although I had my resume blew away every fucking captain's out there. As a matter of fact, my resume blew away most majors. I had more time in service than majors because I was a sergeant first, and then I switched over and came a captain, and they wouldn't give me command because I would not get vaccinated. It was it was wild, and that was like a big part where I was just like, hold on, where's this coming from? And that forced me again. This is like so. Dad's Against the Narrative wasn't like a brand new thing. It was me already fighting the narrative back then, but also
Right.
saying that where'd this come from? And then I looked into the World Economic Forum. And I'm like,
Yep.
the fuck are these guys? Who's Klaus Schwab? I mean, like that's a big question. Who the fuck's this guy? What's Larry Fink have to do with it? Oh, let me go back to 9/11. Where did 9/11 happen? And like you just start going to all these puzzle pieces, and you're like, fuck, dude, it just weaves together. A
Mhm.
very, very strategic spider web of just bullshit that we've been fed. And it's like, when's enough enough? When do we stop this bullshit? When do we wake up? You know?
It was crazy. Well before COVID happened with all that shit. My wife was already, when I met my wife while I was in the Air Force, she was already like on this like whole like, no, we're not doing vaccinations, blah blah blah. And I'm just looking at her like, you crazy. They getting back like because I had this, my prior program, and then I'm just like, nah, like I'm gonna get in trouble with, blah blah blah. She's like, no, I know what to say, and she was pulling up religious exemption and this and other things, but they were like on her ass, and I was looking at her like while we had our daughter, our first daughter, and she's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then I was like, why don't you want them to get vaccinated? She was like, all right, I'm gonna let you do your research. And so she gave me a couple of documentaries to watch, and then I started looking up like what was actually in vaccinations and stuff like that. And I'm like, we putting this like how does like monkey like cells from a monkey like help with certain like stop how does that help stop like diseases? Like are y'all just like putting a bunch of things in there like the dude from the doctor from Powerpuff Girls, like and adding chemical X and hoping you breed a new superhuman or something like that? Is that what y'all are doing? Like, and why are some of these vaccinations like why aren't they heavily tested? Like they only mildly tested. So then when we got to the COVID situation, and she was like, "Oh no, they hadn't even tested this. Like, no, we're good. We're not doing that." I mean, not as if we weren't going to do it anyway. And then I looked at it, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not taking no vaccination," because I was working at a hospital at the time. I was trying to become a nurse, so I was like, yeah, it's cool. I'll lose this job. It's fine. I don't give a damn. I'm not doing this. So, well before that, we were just like against vaccinations because at first I didn't trust what she was saying. I was like, bro, let me research it. But that whole like pathway where they just get you doped up on these things, and then you got these allergies, and now because you got allergies you got to take more medicine. Now you're in this never ending loop with fucking big pharma, and you have to fucking keep paying them, and you get sicker and sicker, and then you fucking it's just it's like that one part off the Matrix where they say they just use you like a battery. So basically, they're just siphoning all the fucking energy out of you. And big pharma and the vaccinations is one way to do it. And then COVID, that was a mass way of them like putting shit in front of your face, like, yeah, take this vaccine. We know that we don't know if this vaccine is gonna fucking help, but yeah, take this vaccine. This is the one that's gonna stop you from getting fucking sick from COVID. So I was like, you don't know it's not gonna help, but take it because it's gonna help. I'm kind of confused on this. How about I just don't take it? How about that?
Yeah, I mean, don't you remember like all the people who were like anti-vaxxers? So like, oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. Because I remember when my first son, when Destin was about to be born, Simone's just like, I don't think we should get vaccinated. I don't think he should be circumcised. And at this time, I'm pushing vaccines for the military, which I look back, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I pushed all.
Yep.
It's okay. So I was part of the problem, right? That's all right. They paid me some good money for those years in Hawaii. But I remember looking, I'm just like, dude, do I want to get vaccinated? Get him vaccinated? Do I want to get him circumcised? And then I talked to a couple of my medics, like, yeah, sir, are you an anti-vaxxer? And I'm like, dude, what's anti-vaxxer? What's that mean? Where'd that come from? And then again, like, this is how my brain just works this way. It's like, how the fuck, where'd that come from? Who came up with the term anti-vaxxer? And then you get into the terminology and you're like, oh, motherfucking CIA, you sneaky sons of bitches. You fucking came up with the term conspiracy theories. You came up with the anti-vaxxer. You came up, and then you just see like, why did you come up with it then? And I got my son vaccinated the first day, got him circumcised, and then he had like this huge reaction, and we had to rush him to the hospital. Like, fucking dude. At that moment, I was like, dude, I'm done with vaccines. I don't know what the fuck's in them. I don't give a fuck. But my son almost fucking died. And then I saw like the whole circumcision. I was a pussy. I won't go in the fucking room with him. And I just left him with the nurse. I'm like, dude, this just doesn't feel right. Something about this. And then my second son, I delivered him at home on our fucking bed. like a fucking champion, scared as fuck, just fucking shaking, and never been to the doctor, no vaccines, not circumcised. Totally, I flipped the entire script this time, and the kid's just so fucking. I mean, both my kids are healthy. Don't get me wrong, luckily. But there's that 1% chance where I look back, I'm like, dude, there could have been something that fucking could have happened to that kid, and it ruined his whole entire fucking life because I trusted the system. And I think that's a big part where it's like COVID, this, it was a pile-on stacking of events for me where it's just like, no, I need to get out of all the fucking systems. Yeah, and then I moved to Mexico. I'm like, dude, living la vida loca and shit down here. So there's a part of like the systems that we just need to question. I think as parents, as fathers, as men. I look back a lot, and I think Devin, you and I talked about this also. Is like there's a time I was born, and I was born 81. So it's like I just remember always feeling like the world's gonna end in my time. I'm gonna be a warrior. I'm gonna rise up. And me and my friends would talk this shit like, dude, I can't wait for the end of the days. I'm fucking ready for it. And we were like kids, just like game planning the end of the world and shit. And like, who the fuck knew like we're gonna be at the precipice right now and say, oh well, fuck, dude. You know what? You look around, and as you said, Brad, like half these guys are just like dead inside, and it's like they've been poisoned so much, controlled so much that how the fuck do you even help those kinds of people out, or do you just keep on driving forward?
Well, I mean, they have to want it for themselves too. A lot of the guys that I work with, like we all start at that point, right? That level of complacency, and we're just kind of like way out of tune with ourselves and what we actually want, and as crazy as it might seem to people who are listening, it boils down to those simple things that we discussed like 20 minutes ago, dude. You get your food right, you get your hydration right, you get some of your daily habits right, you start exercising, and you'll really start to see like what being in tune with yourself is, and having a level of clarity and understanding, and like what it actually feels like to feel good. Because we've been born and bred in a time where we are pumped full of fucking chemicals from the time we were kids, whether it's vaccinations or the food we eat or the tap water that we've consumed. Like we are fucking walking experiments in a sense. Yep. And the minute that you actually start to take hold of some of those habits and the things that you consume on a regular basis is the minute that your life will actually take change.
Yeah.
100%. Dropped a bomb right there.
Yeah, you just summarized it all. I mean, I still have friends that are just like right up to the tap water. Like, bro, what are you doing? Stop that, man. Did you hear about the fucking the gay frog or what? Oh shit. That's the major thing is Brad, that we just wanted to get the word out. Me and Nate Feathers were talking the one day to start this project, and we were just talking about like, man, how can we make a difference? I'm like, well, why don't we just bring awareness to it, man? Yeah. I think sometimes you just bring awareness, and some of these guys, like, we can't shake them. We can't physically be like walk them through everything, shake the shell of them, and say, wake up. But we may be able to get to their ears and rattle some shit around that fucking empty brain and say, hey, man, there's some other ways of living. And plus, there has to be a time in life when a man says, what the fuck's my life for? You can't just think you were sent here for just experimentation. Like you were just saying, we've been a walking experiment. And there has to be a point where it's like, you have to be the warrior within. I think men are all created to be warriors in some way or form. And you don't need to be a frontline fucking infantryman, fighting the war, but there's some warrior in you. But it takes that question of like, what's this life for? Was I born to work to 67, 70 years old to then retire for 20 years and enjoy life when my fucking body's collapsing? Like that makes no fucking sense. Or like put my kid out in daycare and let the whole system run my family. Let my wife go to work. And my wife gave up a huge job home. Like when we decide we're having kids, she's like, if I'm pregnant, I'm quitting my job. And she was a behavior analysis for children with autism at that time. So she was making like 85 grand. And, together we were banking. We were going out and enjoying life all the time. And so I'm like, all right, let's do it. And she stayed home to be a homeschooler, to be with the kids. And then we start figuring out like, all right, well, what's the morals and values of our family? What's the purpose of this life now? And if your kids, I mean, I really believe what you said earlier. Both of you kind of have that same story of like when you had a kid, it woke you to fuck up. I didn't have kids till 39. So like I kind of went through that with when I went to Afghanistan, that woke me up. I was like, oh shit, thanks God.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting me in Afghanistan because if it wasn't for Afghanistan, I wouldn't have seen clearly. I would have been like lost forever, I guess, because I was a walking zombie. I feel like until I went to Afghanistan, I saw how other people live, and you're like, fuck, this could have been my reality, but it's not. So why did you give me this opportunity, God? Not that I'm a church going guy or a religious guy. I believe God's within and that I could control that with my thoughts, with my actions, with everything. So it's just a crazy concept to me that men don't ask that question to themselves of what fucking life is and what's my purpose, you know?
Mm, mm. I can definitely piggyback off what you're saying when you say like men fail to actualize like what their purpose is, and pulling something from you when you said, Brad, like when dudes like start getting their just like their personal shit together, like their personal habits together, just eating healthier, moving your body, and getting some order in your system, like it opens up them neural pathways to be like, hmm, now that I'm actually feeling better, who am I? What? Why am I here? And like, and it starts to spark that mindset of what more can I actually do? Because like, yeah, I'm in shape, like, and I'm in better shape, and I'm feeling better. But what more can I actually do? Can I
Yeah.
help somebody else? Can I build this? Can I do that? And why is it so hard for other men to do this? And then now we're going down these different neural pathways. Now we're awakening to like, oh damn, there's a lot of stupid shit going on that kind of blocks men from, or that's supposed to block men from actualizing who they are and getting deeper down into their masculine core. And
Yeah.
so um I feel like a lot of times like the awareness, what you're talking about, what you're doing with this, Jack, is, spreading the awareness, because sometimes we're just planting a seed. Maybe the seed hasn't germinated right this moment, but the seed may germinate 30 days from now. Hell, fuck, some people are, late bloomers a year from now, 2 years from now. But at least like planting those seeds, consistently, that will help, spread the awareness, because people need to understand that. I think now we're in the age now. I like to look at, the half full cup. I do like to look at the half empty too, but I also like to look at the half full too. Whereas even the younger dudes now that are coming up, they're getting in the gym culture heavily,
Yeah.
and that's good. Like some of them, and through that, some of them are finding their deeper, like they're deepening their purpose and stuff like that. So if we can keep spreading this awareness, it can have probably help even just the younger guys coming up that are starting to, build families and stuff like that. Because those guys are end up taking the torch from us, and they're gonna be, running this shit. So fuck yeah.
Brad, did you notice your life change once you started just helping like so many people?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I never really realized how fulfilling it was to like provide that kind of service. Like obviously being a firefighter like was awesome, right? Like that was like me kind of giving back in a sense of like, dude, I had been so selfish most of my life and focused on just like me, like, like this, I want to serve others, and then it led on to like obviously where I'm at today. And it is wild, like what it does, for mental, physical, and being able to be kind of a light in somebody's life who's making a change. And when I was leaving the fire service, I was terrified. I was like, dude, I don't know, like if this is going to pan out as big as it is, or if I'm going to be able to realistically serve in the same capacity. And now it's like I can say hand over fist, I've been able to help way more people on a deeper level than I ever would have as a firefighter.
Mm,
Dude, isn't that the truth? I thought same, very similar. I mean, I don't hit as many people as you, but just like I do a lot more in person. I'm a community man, and just being able to touch so many lives. I mean, now I run a kids program here, and I fucking have like 10 kids. I think I'm supposed to have like 15 show up this week. And
Nice.
the parents just fucking love it. And like, I just moved here. So this is a new place. I moved from Cancun to central Mexico now. And it's different, man. It was great. Don't get me wrong. I had, I think, a total of like 700 soldiers under me. And it was fucking beautiful. It was fun. But a lot of them came from different leaders or leadership that they're like, I love them, I hate them, and they come with sour taste in their mouth, or like just normal humans, right? They're just like, hey, I don't really give a fuck what you say. You're an officer, you don't know shit. Even though like I was enlisted longer than all of them, and so you come out to the civilian sector and you start helping them, and you're like, fuck, dude, these guys need it more than the military. These guys really, and the gratitude is like 10 times. Like you get parents that like will cry. They're like, man, my kid never had discipline, won't listen to me. Now my kid's doing hand and arm signals in the house and not talking. And I'm like, like fucking turning them into those soldiers and
Oh.
shit. But it's true. It's so rewarding, and I didn't think I would find that outside the military. I honestly, it was one of the
Mm.
scariest things for me. Is like when I left the military, is what the fuck am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I thought I lost purpose. I thought my purpose was the military. Actually, it was like my this is my purpose. I'm a soldier through and through. Dude, how fucking silly that. Like now looking back, I'm like, dude, what a silly young man I was. And
I
you know,
I got a question. I got a question for both of y'all because I feel like I see it when both of you guys are speaking, even for myself. But do you guys think like even like with you, Brad, being like a firefighter and you, Jack, being like in the military is involved or your resumes being stacked like that, do you think from that process, like going through that process, it's put you in this position to where you are now to be able to help, build basically warrior school for children and for you to help other men? You think that those pathways led you there? And do you think without going through that, do you think you would be here?
Yeah, I mean, in my case, absolutely. Like when I first turned to the fire service, like that was like kind of like my first step in taking control in my life again and living for something bigger than myself. It
Mhm.
brought structure and discipline and purpose back into my life when I had really none of it for a long time. And
Yeah.
my goal was obviously, be a great firefighter, serve my community, and like have a good time doing it. And when I left, it was a big identity shift, right? Like Jack said, like I was like, but I put so much into this, like I've just my whole life is just over the last several years has been 100% firefighter, and now it's like I don't have that anymore. But looking
Mhm.
back, it was like a huge stepping stone into getting my life, my mind, and my discipline back into a point of check to where I could provide that for other people. It was a stepping stone in a sense, and I didn't see it at the time, but I needed that check. I needed that structure, that discipline, that purpose, so that I could further identify kind of what mine was.
yeah, no, I'm similar to you, Brad. I had no identity, no purpose. I was a loose cannon. I was a fucking, I'm telling you, I was just an old school punk rocker that was fucking, and then we were signed under a record label under Atreyu. So I partied with like the fucking big names, not making the big money though, right? And it was like, so it's like you get a little taste, and that's good enough though, because it's like you're partying with them. And then X Games, we were friends with Travis Pastrana, so we got backstage passes, the Gravity Games, X Games, and they all came through Cleveland because Cleveland's a huge punk scene. And I got into the military, gave me some structure, some purpose. It rewired my brain. And then
Mhm.
they still were alcoholics, so it was great for me because I'm like, oh, all right, I don't need to quit alcohol at least because now I'm with my people. So like when I got out, it was just like it was a nice slow transition for me because then
Mhm.
I was just like, dude, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I drinking?
Yeah.
I remember just drinking. My son was two or three, and I was in Tampa, and I was cracking open beers like behind fucking walls where no one see me. Pound that shit, throw it out. My wife doesn't know I drank. Throw it out in a public trash can. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, dude, who the fuck do I think I am right now? Like, I've lost all purpose again, and I have to restart. I'm like, no, no, you don't need to restart. You need to quit drinking. The drinking was allowed in the military. So once I removed that, I think my
Mm,
clarity really came. It was like I had to sober up. Okay, I need to fucking sober up. And when people talk about sobering up, I know like Brad, I know you're sober, I'm sober. I don't think people really realize the clarity, the mental clarity that you get, the vision that you get in life from being sober
mhm.
it's profound. I
Bro,
mean, you can't tell someone really what the fuck's going to happen because you're not really seeing clearly when you're spending Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday drinking the whole time, then going and kicking ass in the gym all week, eating healthy just to fucking put it to waste for 3 more days. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
man.
No, there's something huge about that, man. I mean, the even because the different faces of alcoholism, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that was a big thing for me is I thought that I didn't necessarily have a problem because I didn't drink every day, and I
Yep.
drank, but I would drink to the point like when I drank, like I drank hard. I drank to the point where I was basically blacked out every time I had alcohol because I had no off switch. I had no control. And even my self-justification of it, was like, oh, it's just my days off, it's just the weekend, it's just this, it was
Mm,
it was enough to completely derail the rest of my life in a sense, because it took away from my ambition, it took away from my discipline, my goals, my long view. And as soon as I removed it, like you said, the clarity kicked in very heavy, and I was able to see past the weekend, and I was able to like build and establish and plan, and do these things that I had never really had the capability of doing before, because I continued to numb myself, all the time. And that's what people do, is they're numbing, they're taking their edge away,
yep.
and after enough of it, it keeps you fucking stuck. You just keep running right back to it, because it's a trap. It's the temporary fix that everybody gets caught in, living in a full-time manner. And we just as soon as you
Yep.
remove it, man, it is a huge game changer, and that's a big pillar of my program. Like, not everybody that comes to me wants to get sober, right? Like, that's a personal choice. But I'm like, while you're working through the program, like, sideline it and see what it does for your life. See what it does for your mental state. See what it does for
Mhm.
your body when you can you put it away for 3 or 6 months at a time, or even a year, and just see how much better you feel without it.
Yeah,
Man, I'm gonna
bro.
say that's badass, bro.
Yeah.
I feel
No.
like I come from, and I'm pretty sure you can, a lot of y'all can. We both got or we all got similar backgrounds, but like, I come from where I'm from. Everybody want to talk about like what's gangster. What you just said right there, Brad, that's the most gangster shit. Okay. Is like that's the most gangster shit. I think a lot of times people think having an edge just means being tough and grimy and stuff. Like, no, bro. Having the edge is being able to tell yourself fucking no to shit that it's impulsive. Like, you have urges. As men, we have urges that can make us weak in the long run. And being able to say no and be able to guide our own impulses, that shit is fucking like, that's badass. That's gangster, bro. Like, real talk. That is the coolest shit ever, to see people that maybe you once had a problem, or you had, because we think is like you said, you think it's not a problem. It's every weekend, because I had the same type of situation when I was in the military. It's just my days off, so I'm gonna let loose. But then when you're able to sit there and say no, like, no, I'm not doing this, and then you keep saying no over and over the fuck again, and now like you internally you feel like, yeah, I'm fucking badass, because like, nah, I'm the big dog, not the inner bitch voice. I'm the big dog. Yeah. So I think I just wanted to say that's fucking gangster, bro. Both
All
of
right, guys.
y'all are fucking
We're
gangsters.
coming up on an hour, so I know time's important, especially over there, Brad. I know you're busy as fuck. I appreciate you being here. I just want to say it.
Of
Devin,
course.
thanks for co-hosting again with me. Before I pass it to you, Devin, and then to Brad for the final word, I just want to say, guys, you know, just have some self-reflection out there. Please look in the mirror a couple times and just ask what life's about, man. And ask if you're living it right. And then make your own boundaries, man. It's wide open. You could create your own world. And being sober definitely helps. I'm not gonna lie, it helped my life a lot.
Mhm.
And just ask those questions, man. Those simple questions will take you far. Devin, over to you,
Absolutely.
man.
And I'm gonna keep it real simple. Just don't allow yourself to be a weenie. Like whenever you feel like you are supposed to do something and you don't want to do it, fucking do it. Just do it. It'll make you better. Because 9 times out of 10, when you don't want to do something, it's either working out, cleaning your fucking space, taking care of your fucking health. Just fucking do it. Yes, it's hard in the process, but in the end, you gonna fucking love it. And guess what? In the end, you gonna feel like, yeah, I'm a fucking badass. I'm a top G. Like you're gonna feel good about it. So just don't be a weenie.
Yeah. No, it's great, man. I mean, I definitely can echo on those things, dude. It's about just committing to being the best version of yourself, and it's hard work, dude. It's not meant for everybody, but everybody thinks that this is about working out and getting in shape and building a body, but those are all byproducts of the habits we practice. And strength is not a physical, you know, example of how much weight you can move. It's living in a constant state of restraint. And when you can establish habits that restrain you from a lifestyle that you want to walk away from and give you so many gifts of the life that you stand to gain and live, and you can give those to your kids, to your wife, it's far more than just over here trying to show everybody how much I could bench or how many burpees I could do. It's showing up every day and aiming to be better and improving on yourself. So where in your life can you show up and be better and make improvements and stop accepting that complacent version that we've all been at some point in time?
Hell yeah. I
Oh,
appreciate it, Brad. Thanks, Devin. Guys, have a great day. Peace out.
Absolutely. Thank you, bro.